Welcome back. Today we are doing something a little different. We are looking at a platform that, frankly, everyone has heard of, but very few people actually understand the mechanics of.
Yeah.
We are talking about a company that has fundamentally changed the internet, for better or for worse. And to set the scene, I want you to just look at the calendar. It is February 2, 2026. The platform we are discussing today is massive. It's monolithic.
It really is.
But the scale of it is what really blew my mind when I started digging into this stack of research you brought today.
It is staggering. And I think before we even say the name of the company, though everyone knows who we are talking about, we need to look at a number that dropped in October 2025.
Oh, yeah.
It's a financial milestone that really contextualizes everything we are about to discuss.
Yeah, this was the jaw dropper for me. In October 2025, this company announced that since its inception in 2016, it has paid out $25 billion to its creators.
$25 billion.
$25 billion. That is with a B.
To put that in perspective, that is comparable to the GDP of entire small nations.
Wow.
It is a transfer of wealth that is almost unprecedented in the, quote, creator economy. But as we are going to explore, that wealth isn't exactly evenly distributed.
Right. We're talking about OnlyFans.
Yes.
And the hook for me here, the reason I wanted to do this deep dive, is that we need to move past the headline that it's just a porn site.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, obviously, that is a huge part of it.
Yeah.
But this is a story about a massive shift in how we value online interaction. It is a story about the top 1% making millions while the average creator is scraping by with peanuts.
Exactly. If you look at the data, the average creator makes about, what, $1,300 a year?
A year, not a month.
A year. So for every superstar buying a Ferrari, there are thousands of people making essentially pocket change.
Yeah.
But our mission today is to unpack the machine itself. We need to investigate OnlyFans as a technology company, a financial juggernaut, and a lightning rod for controversy.
And we have quite the stack of sources to help us do that. We've got financial reports, investigative journalism from Reuters and the BBC, corporate histories, and even some court documents.
Yep.
We are going to figure out how a family-founded startup in London became an $8 billion valuation target as of 2025.
And how it survived a near-death experience with the global banking system, which we will definitely get to. It is a London-based tech giant that has redefined intimacy in the digital age. But to understand where we are in 2026, we have to go back to the very beginning.
Let's rewind the clock. Take us back to 2016. Because when I look at the origins of OnlyFans, it doesn't look like your typical Silicon Valley garage startup story. It's distinctly British and distinctly family-oriented, which is ironic given what the platform became.
It is a bit ironic, yeah. The company was founded in London by a guy named Tim Stokely, and the seed money wasn't from a venture capital firm on Sand Hill Road.
Right. No Sequoia capital here.
No, it was a £10,000 loan from his father, Guy Stokely.
I love that. The dad bankrolled it. But Tim wasn't exactly new to this world, was he? He had been tinkering in this space before.
He had. Tim Stokely had a history of trying to crack the code on monetizing social influence and, frankly, adult content. He had founded sites like Glam Girls and Customs For You.
Customs For You, what was that?
Customs For You was interesting because it was an early attempt at allowing users to request custom videos from models. So, the DNA of direct monetization was already there.
So he was already thinking about that direct fan-to-creator payment model.
He was, and it really was a family affair. You had Tim running the show, his brother Thomas was the chief operating officer, and his dad, Guy, was running the finances.
Imagine that Thanksgiving dinner table conversation. So, son, how's the site going?
Well, initially the conversation might have been quite tame. This is a detail a lot of people forget. When OnlyFans first launched, strictly speaking, it wasn't a porn site.
Right, they actually banned it.
They did. They actually banned explicit content in the very early days. The original pitch was to attract mainstream influencers, fitness trainers, chefs, musicians who wanted to share exclusive content with superfans.
That is the classic pivot, isn't it? They wanted to be Patreon before Patreon was huge.
Pretty much.
But then they flipped the switch. By 2017, the ban on pornography was lifted. Why do you think that happened? Was it just pure economics?
It's almost always economics. They realized the friction in the market. People wanted to see adult content, and creators wanted to sell it, but the existing platforms were clunky or, pirated everything.
We were just leaving money on the table.
A ton of it. OnlyFans offered a walled garden. But the real turning point, the moment the rocket ship actually ignited, was in 2018.
Okay, this is the ownership shift, right?
Yeah.
Because up until 2018, it's this British family business.
Yep.
Then enters a new character.
Enter Leonid Radvinsky. He is a Ukrainian-American businessman, a first-generation immigrant with a deep history in the adult industry. He owned a site called My Free Cams, which was this huge cam girl site, so he knew the space.
A very big player.
A very big player. In 2018, he acquired 75% of Phoenix International, which is the parent company of OnlyFans.
So the Stokeleys are still involved, but Radvinsky is the majority owner.
And this guy is a bit of a mystery, right? He's not out there doing TED Talks.
Far from it. He is incredibly private, but his influence is undeniable. When Radvinsky came on board, that is when OnlyFans really leaned into its identity.
It found its product market fit.
It absolutely did. He understood the mechanics of the adult industry better than anyone. He knew that if you could streamline the payment process and give creators control, you would win. This is where the platform gained what we might call its pop culture reputation.
Let's talk about that mechanism, the gold rush mechanics, as I like to call it, because the business model is actually incredibly simple on the surface.
It is deceptively simple. It is an 80-20 split. The creator keeps 80% of every dollar earned, and the platform takes 20%, which, compared to something like YouTube or Spotify, is incredibly generous.
Oh, it's night and day.
I mean, Spotify pays fractions of a penny. Here, if a fan pays $20 for a subscription, the creator sees 16 of that immediately.
Exactly. And unlike YouTube or Instagram, which are ad-supported, meaning the creator is essentially bait to get you to watch a commercial.
Right, you're the product.
You're the product. With OnlyFans, it's direct monetization. It's a transaction. You are paying for a subscription, you are paying for tips, or you are paying for pay-per-view messages, which are locked posts sent via DM.
That pay-per-view, or PPV, aspect is crucial, isn't it? That's where the whales spend their money.
It is. The subscription gets you in the door, but the PPV is where the high-margin revenue sits.
And we should probably talk about who is actually spending that money. Do we have any data on that?
We do. We have demographic data from a 2022 study. It found that the user base was predominantly white, married males.
Married males, that's an interesting demographic detail.
It's a very specific demographic.
It speaks to what the platform is actually selling. It's not just content, is it? If you just want to see naked people, the internet has terabytes of that for free.
It's not about the content. It's about the connection, or at least the illusion of connection.
The girlfriend experience.
Right. But specifically, a girlfriend who doesn't demand anything from you other than money. It's a low-stakes emotional release.
It feels transactional.
It's entirely transactional. For a married man who, maybe feels ignored or bored, OnlyFans offers a simulated relationship where he's always the most important person in the room.
As long as the credit card clears?
As long as the credit card clears.
That's incredibly bleak when you put it like that.
It is, but it's also an $8 billion business model.
Okay, so they have the model. They have the new owner. They are growing. And then the world stops. 2020, COVID-19.
The pandemic was a tragedy for the world, but it was, to put it bluntly, a winning lottery ticket for OnlyFans.
A perfect storm.
A perfect storm. On one side, you had millions of people stuck at home, bored, lonely, and horny. Yep.
On the other side, you had people losing their jobs. Bartenders, waiters, service workers who needed income immediately.
It was the symbiotic relationship of the lockdown. I remember reading that between March and April 2020 alone, the user and creator base jumped 75%.
75% in 1 month. It's explosive.
That's insane.
It is. But it wasn't just the pandemic. There was a cultural lightning strike in April 2020.
Oh, I know what you're going to say. Beyonce.
Beyonce. The Savage remix with Megan Thee Stallion.
Hips TikTok. When I dance on that demon time, she might start an OnlyFans.
I'm impressed. But that lyric, it was a game changer.
It legitimized it, didn't it? It brought it into the mainstream.
It absolutely did.
Yeah.
Traffic spiked 15% immediately after that song dropped. It moved the platform from the dark corners of the internet into the mainstream conversation.
It became a verb. I'm going to start an OnlyFans.
It became a viable career option in the public consciousness, for better or worse.
But with that mainstreaming came the celebrity invasion. And this is where things get really messy.
We have to talk about Bella Thorne.
The Bella Thorne incident of August 2020, this is a case study in disruption and unintended consequences.
Okay, so set the scene. Bella Thorne, the former Disney actress, joins the site.
She makes $1 million in 24 hours.
$1 million.
And then $2 million in a week.
Which sounds like a huge win for OnlyFans, right?
Yeah.
Look, we're a celebrity. We're legitimate.
It looked like a win until the chargebacks started. See, the controversy was that she allegedly promised nude photos in a $200 pay-per-view message.
Okay.
Fans paid the $200. She sent a photo, but she was wearing lingerie.
And the internet turned on her.
Fast. The fans felt scammed. They demanded refunds. The credit card processors panicked because suddenly there was this massive volume of chargebacks, which is a huge red flag for fraud.
And the fallout didn't just hurt Bella Thorne, right? This is the part that really angered the sex worker community that had built the platform.
Correct. This is the crucial part. To appease the payment processors, OnlyFans had to change the rules for everyone. For everyone.
Everyone. They capped the price you could charge for a tip. They extended the time it took to get paid out from days to weeks.
Oh, wow.
So you had sex workers who were relying on that income to pay rent, suddenly finding their funds locked up for weeks, all because a celebrity came in, made a quick buck, and broke the system.
It created this huge rift. You had the tourist celebrities versus the workers who built the platform from the ground up.
A huge rift and a ton of distrust.
But Bella wasn't the only one putting up crazy numbers.
No. In April 2021, the rapper Bhabie broke Bella Thorne's record.
I remember this.
She made $1 million in just 6 hours.
6 hours.
And this was controversial for another reason. She had essentially just turned 18.
Right. People were literally counting down the days to her birthday, which brings up a whole other ethical debate.
A whole other can of worms.
And then you have the streamers getting in on it. Amaranth.
Amaranth is a phenomenon. In 2022, she revealed she was earning $1.5 million per month. Per month. That's just... It's hard to even comprehend that.
And Markiplier, the gaming YouTuber, he launched an account for charity and literally crashed the site. The servers couldn't handle the traffic.
The financial velocity during this era, 2020 to 2021, is just mind-boggling.
It really is. By 2021, revenue hit roughly $900 million, up from $350 million the year before.
That's more than double in a year.
And remember Radvinsky, the owner?
The silent owner.
He took home $500 million in dividends just between 2021 and 2022.
$500 million.
In cash.
Straight into his pocket.
Mm-hmm.
The cash flow this company generates is staggering because their overhead is relatively low. They don't buy content, they just host it and take their 20%.
But when you are generating that much cash from adult content, you paint a massive target on your back.
A huge one.
And in August 2021, the music stopped. Or at least it looked like it was going to. Let's talk about the porn ban. August 19th, 2021. I remember where I was when this news broke. It was a bombshell. OnlyFans announced that starting October 1st, they would ban sexually explicit content.
Which, to me, sounded completely suicidal.
Yeah.
It's like Netflix saying, we are banning movies. We are just going to do menu screens now.
Right.
Why would they kill their golden goose?
It wasn't a choice they wanted to make. It was banking pressure.
Okay, let's unpack this, because at the time, everyone blamed MasterCard. That was the narrative.
That was the rumor. And MasterCard was making changes to its policies for adult merchants. But CEO Tim Stokely later came out and clarified. He said MasterCard actually had no bearing on the specific decision.
So it wasn't them. Who was it?
It was the banks themselves, the big ones. Institutions like BNY Mellon and JP Morgan Chase were rejecting transactions.
Rejecting them how? Like, just refusing to process payments?
Exactly. BNY Mellon was reportedly flagging every single wire transfer from Phoenix International. Imagine trying to run a multi-billion-dollar company when your bank won't move your money.
So when we say they banks, we aren't talking about the local branch manager shaking his head. We're talking about the back-end plumbing of the global economy.
That's the perfect way to put it. We need to distinguish between the card networks, Visa and MasterCard, and the custodian banks, like BNY Mellon.
What's the difference?
The card networks set the rules for how a payment happens, but the banks actually move the money. And for a bank like BNY Mellon, which handles trillions in assets, processing a $10 payment for an adult site is a nightmare of compliance.
Is it just a moral stance? Or is there a mechanical reason they hate it?
It's risk assessment. In the banking world, adult content is labeled high risk.
Okay.
Not just because of the nature of the content, but because of the chargeback rate. If a user regrets a purchase and disputes it, the bank has to investigate. That costs money.
And with this content, I imagine the chargeback rate is higher than average.
Much higher. If the rate of disputes gets too high, usually over 1%, the bank gets fined by the card networks.
So BNY Mellon looks at Phoenix International and sees a compliance headache that might facilitate money laundering, generates endless chargebacks, and creates PR risk.
And they realized the fees they were collecting just weren't worth the trouble.
So they were effectively de-risking.
Exactly. They didn't ban porn. They banned the compliance cost of porn.
So they announced the ban. What happened next?
Chaos. Absolute chaos. The backlash was immediate and fierce. Creators felt betrayed.
I can imagine.
They had built their livelihoods on this platform, and suddenly they were being told they were evicted. They started fleeing to competitors like Fansly.
Fansly is interesting because it looks almost identical to OnlyFans. It's like the lifeboat everyone jumped into.
It was. And OnlyFans saw the data, they saw the user sentiment, and just 6 days later,
Nice.
they did a complete 180. They scrapped the ban. They put out a statement claiming they had secured assurances from their banking partners.
Which feels a bit like a magic trick. Oh, never mind, we fixed it. But the damage was done, right? The trust was gone.
The trust was eroded. That legacy remains today. Every creator on OnlyFans has that fear in the back of their mind. Will they do it again?
Right.
It showed that their livelihood could have vanished overnight due to a corporate policy change or a banker's whim.
And that leads us to another layer of deception. We talked about the platform betraying the creators, but what about the creators betraying the fans? This brings us to the illusion of intimacy and the chatter scandal of 2024.
This is one of the most fascinating and disturbing aspects of the business. In 2024, investigative reports from Reuters and Wired blew the lid off this practice.
So what did they find?
They revealed that many of the higher-earning creators, the top 0.01%, aren't the ones talking to you.
What do you mean?
They hire third-party agencies to answer their messages. So subscribers think they are sexting their favorite model.
But they're not.
They are actually texting a low-wage worker, often in a different country, like the Philippines. These workers are called chatters.
Wait, hold on. I want to circle back to this because I think we're glossing over how insane that actually is.
It's wild.
You're telling me that if I'm a subscriber and I pay $50 to send a DM saying I had a hard day, and the response is, I'm so sorry, baby, that response might be coming from a guy in a cubicle somewhere.
That is exactly what the Reuters investigation found. These agencies have teams of chatters, mostly men, who study the creator's personality and mimic her speaking style.
But isn't that just straight up fraud? If I pay for a personal connection with you, if you outsource it, that feels illegal.
It feels illegal, but the terms of service make it a gray area. Technically, you are paying for entertainment.
A very expensive form of entertainment.
It is. But this is where the class action lawsuits come in. They argued that the specific promise of OnlyFans is intimacy. If that intimacy is manufactured by a third party, the product is defective.
It's like buying a handwritten letter from a celebrity and finding out it was printed by a machine. The value proposition just collapses.
And yet, does it? The revenue numbers suggest the fans either don't know or, and this is the darker possibility, they don't care, as long as the illusion holds up in the moment.
And in 2024, it went a step further. It wasn't just human chatters.
No. Some creators were found using AI chatbots, so you weren't even talking to a human. You're talking to a large language model trained to extract money from you.
So you're sexting with a robot.
You're sexting with a robot, pretending to be a model who is, in reality, probably asleep. It's industrializing the girlfriend experience to the point of automation.
It's a don't ask, don't tell policy for ghostwriters.
Basically.
But there is a darker side to the platform than just fake text.
Yeah.
We have to talk about safety. Because when you have user-generated content at this scale, moderation becomes a nightmare.
This is the heavy stuff, but it's necessary to understand the regulatory pressure. We are talking about child sexual abuse material, or CSAM.
The BBC did a report in 2021, and Reuters followed up in 2024. What did they find?
They found failures, significant ones. Reuters documented 30 complaints involving over 200 explicit images of children over a 5-year period.
That is horrifying. How does that even get onto the platform? I thought they had verification.
They do. And to be fair to OnlyFans, their verification is stricter than almost anywhere else. They require something like 9 pieces of identification.
9 pieces.
Yes, selfies, holding your ID, government documents, social handles. OnlyFans claims to be an industry leader in this.
So how does it slip through?
It's the tension between volume and moderation. Even with 99.9% accuracy, if you have millions of uploads a day, things slip through.
It's a numbers game.
It is. Or accounts get sold. Or hacked. The National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, NCMEC, has actually praised OnlyFans for their voluntary reporting initiatives, so they are trying, but the police reports persist.
And this brings in the political pressure. You have U.S. Congress involvement, right?
And Wagner has been a vocal critic pushing the Department of Justice to investigate.
And you have pressure groups.
You do.
Yeah.
Groups like Exodus Cry and the National Center on Sexual Exploitation. These groups put pressure on the banks. So it's a cycle. The safety concerns fuel the banking pressure, which threatens the business model.
Speaking of business tactics, there was a weird story about shadow banning involving Meta. What was that about?
This was a lawsuit alleging that OnlyFans actually bribed Meta employees to terrorist blacklist their competitors.
Whoa, wait, to put competitors on a terrorist list?
That was the allegation. The claim was that creators who were on rival sites, like Fansly, were getting their Instagram accounts banned because they were falsely flagged as affiliated with terrorist organizations.
That sounds like something out of a spy novel.
It does. Now, it's very important to note. The case was dismissed in 2023 on jurisdictional grounds, and a judge later ruled that the plaintiffs failed to prove unfair competition.
So it wasn't proven.
Not proven in court. But the fact that such an accusation was even made reveals how cutthroat this industry is. It's a war for attention and for creators.
Okay, so they're fighting banking wars, legal wars, and moderation wars. So what do? They try to pivot. They try to go mainstream. Let's talk about OFTV.
OFTV is the Safe for Work pivot. It launched in 2021. It's a streaming app that has zero nudity.
Which means it can actually exist on the Apple App Store and Google Play Store, which, famously ban adult apps.
Correct. It's a branding exercise. They are trying to say, look, we are a media company. We aren't just porn.
So what's on it?
They have shows like Model Farmers, which is exactly what it sounds like. Influencers working on a farm.
I have to admit, I watched a clip of Model Farmers. It's surreal.
It is. They also had the Creative Fund Fashion Edition with Rebecca Minkoff. They had comedy specials with Whitney Cummings.
What's the strategy here? Is anyone actually subscribing to OnlyFans for the comedy specials?
Probably not. But it provides a fig leaf of legitimacy. It allows the CEO, currently Kylie Blair, to go on news programs and talk about their creators without immediately having to defend pornography. It normalizes the brand name.
It's funny because this is what Tim Stokely originally wanted, wasn't it?
Yeah.
He wanted the chefs and the fitness instructors.
He did. He wanted the Patreon crowd.
So they've kind of come full circle, at least in their PR.
In their PR, yes. But the money is still coming from the same place.
Speaking of normalizing, let's talk about that visa loophole. This was a Financial Times report from January 2026. This blew my mind.
The O-1 visa. This is a U.S. visa designated for individuals with extraordinary ability or achievement.
Right. Usually this is for Nobel Prize winners, world-class actors, top scientists.
People at the absolute top of their field.
And now, OnlyFans models.
The report found that over half of U.S. O-1 visas were going to influencers and OnlyFans models.
That is wild. So the U.S. government is officially recognizing that being really, really good at monetizing intimacy is an extraordinary ability.
In a way, it is. It's a recognition of the economic power of these creators. They are bringing in foreign revenue, they are running businesses, but it certainly bends the original intent of that visa category.
To say the least. And we can't ignore the geopolitics. OnlyFans is a global platform, but the world is fracturing.
Right. In 2022, after the invasion of Ukraine, Russian and Belarusian accounts were restricted. Payments were paused.
So sanctions hit them directly.
Directly. It showed that digital platforms are not neutral, they are subject to sanctions. And more recently, in 2024, China blocked access entirely. So the map is shrinking in some places, even as it expands in others.
So bringing us to the present day,
Yeah.
It is 2026. Where does the company stand?
Financially, it is a behemoth. 2023 revenue was $1.3 billion, up 20% from the previous year.
Still growing at a crazy rate.
Still growing. And they paid $150 million in UK corporation tax alone. That buys a lot of goodwill with the British government.
And there are rumors of a sale, right?
As of 2025, Phoenix International was in talks to sell to a U.S. investor group, the Forest Road Company, at an $8 billion valuation.
$8 billion. From a 10,000-pound loan from Dad.
It is a staggering return on investment. And under CEO Kylie Blair, who was appointed in July 2023, the mission has been to dispel misconceptions.
That's the PR term for it.
That's the term. They want to be seen as a legitimate tech unicorn. They want the valuation of a tech company, not the discount of a porn company.
So what does this all mean? We have looked at the history, the money, the scandals, the pivots.
I think OnlyFans is the ultimate case study of the modern internet. It proves that direct monetization works. It proves that people are willing to pay for connection.
A simulated connection.
A simulated connection, yes. But it also exposes the flaws in our digital infrastructure, the power of banks, the difficulty of moderation at scale, and the blurry line between reality and fantasy.
It's a platform of liberation for some. We can't deny that. Creators keeping 80% is life-changing money for single moms, for students, for people who couldn't work traditional jobs.
Absolutely. It democratized the adult industry. It took power away from shady producers and gave it to the talent. That is the positive legacy.
But on the flip side, you have the chatters. You have the industrialization of I love you. You have the safety risks.
And that duality is what makes it so fascinating. It's messy, it's profitable, and it's not going anywhere.
I want to leave the listeners with a thought that has been nagging me since we started researching the chatter scandal and that O1 visa thing.
Go on.
Okay, so we have established that the U.S. government is giving extraordinary ability visas to these creators.
Oh, right.
But we also know that many of these creators are hiring ghostwriters to do the actual connecting with fans.
With chatters, yeah.
So if the person you are paying for intimacy is actually a ghostwriter in a call center, and the extraordinary ability recognized by the U.S. government is just the ability to monetize that illusion, have we completely redefined what it means to be a public figure or an artist in the 21st century?
That is the question, isn't it? Are we rewarding the art, or are we rewarding the efficiency of the extraction?
Think about that. And think about where the line is drawn between the creator economy and digital exploitation.
It's a line that moves every day.
Thanks for listening to this deep dive. We will catch you on the next one.
Stay curious.